Hi, how are you doing? Welcome to today's lesson. What we're going to be looking at today is how to sketch a quadratic. Okay, so sketching a quadratic. Okay, now when you're sketching a quadratic, you know in stats they've got the 5-number summary where they're talking about the box and whisker diagram. I consider when you're sketching a quadratic, you need 5 numbers as well. 5 things that you need to show. You need to show 5 things. And I'm going to run through the 5 things as we do it through an example. Okay, so let's look at this example. E.g., they ask you to sketch y equals x squared minus 6x minus 16. Okay, and they say sketch this. They just say sketch it. They expect you to know that you have to find 5 different things. Okay, now I say 5 different things. Sometimes there's 4. Right? If your x-intercept, if it's only one x-intercept, all right, then you've only got 4, right? But most of the time it will be 5 different things. A y-intercept, 2 x-intercepts or roots, a turning point, and the axis of symmetry. This one, the axis of symmetry, people always forget about. Okay, so let's start with the easy thing. Let's start number 1, okay, the y-intercept. Y-intercept. Okay, well the y-intercept is easy. Y-intercept, if I make all this 0, because remember the y-intercept has a coordinate, x-coordinate of 0. So if I make all of this 0, 0, 0, negative 16. That's all that's left over. The y-intercept equals negative 16. It's just your c value. ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay? So in this case, my y-intercept is negative 16. Piece of cake. First one done. Okay. Number 2, my roots. Okay? X-intercept. Also sometimes called the roots. Okay? Roots. So if they ask you to find the roots of an equation, if they ask you to find the x-intercepts, it's the same thing, okay? They're not asking for something weird. So the roots of the equation, well, y-intercept, x equals 0, x-intercept, y equals 0. Y-intercept, x equals 0, x-intercept, y equals 0. So I've got 0 equals x squared minus 6x minus 16. So all you're doing is solving this quadratic, okay? So you need to know how to solve quadratics. Right. So 0 equals factors of 16 that give me 6, okay? So I've got x and x. Factors of 16 that gives me 6. 1 and 16 either gives me 17 or 15, alright? 2 and 8 either gives me 10 or 6. Ah, there it is, 2 and 8. 4 and 4, no. Okay, so it's 2 and it's 8. This sign says the signs are different. This sign says the biggest one is negative. Negative, positive. Okay, so what does this mean? Well, this gives me 2 answers here. This gives me x plus 2 equals 0, so x equals negative 2, or x minus 8 equals 0, so x equals 8. Okay, so there's my 2 roots. Intercept, y-intercept, 2 roots. Okay, fantastic. Let's get on to the turning point, because the turning point ends up giving everything else. Okay, the turning point, this is number 3, TP. Now, if you watched my video on how to derive the quadratic formula, okay, using completing the square, you'll see a shortcut of how to get the turning point. Okay? If you haven't, or if you don't want to do that, or if your teacher doesn't let you do that, because some teachers don't hate that shortcut, then you have to complete the square. Okay? Either way, you have to know how to complete the square. So let's do it the long-winded, completing the square way. So y equals x squared minus 6x minus 16, right? We take the variable part. Let's just leave that minus 16 over there. And we take the variable part and we complete the square on the variable part. So there it is there. A is 1, I don't have to worry about it. So I've got x, same sign, minus half of 6, 3, squared. Minus the correction for this. 3 squared is 9, minus 9. Let's drop the brackets. So I've got y equals x minus 3 squared, negative 9 and negative 16. Negative 9, negative 16, okay, is negative 25. Minus 25. Are you with me? Okay. Alright. So, fantastic. Right. So now what do we do? We have to find now, this is negative 25, so now we have to plot this guy. This gives us now a turning point. The turning point is opposite sign of that, 3, same sign of that, 25. Negative 25. Right. This also gives us the axis of symmetry. The axis of symmetry is x equals my turning point value. The axis of symmetry is x equals just that, 3. Okay, so now I have my 5 things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we can plot them. Okay, so You don't have to, if they say sketch, you don't have to draw it with a grid. If they give you graph paper or squared paper, then yeah, guess what, you have to draw it with a grid. But if they just say sketch, alright, then all that you're going to do is grab your ruler, and please, even though it says sketch, you still have to do it neatly, okay? Don't be lazy with this. Grab your ruler, draw yourself an XY axis, okay? Alright, and now put in the points. Show your things. Firstly, the y-intercept, negative 16. Negative 16, it's about there, negative 16. Right? The x roots, negative 2 and 8. So the one root is negative 2. Don't worry if this is not to scale to each other. Alright? If they're saying sketch, the y doesn't have to be to scale to the x. Okay? Negative 2 and 8. But this horizontal should be kind of in proportion. Alright? So there's my two roots, negative 2 and 8, and then lastly my turning point, 3, negative 25. Well, if negative 2 is there, 3 is about there, so there's 3 about there. I know it's slightly out of scale, and negative 25, well 16, negative 25 is almost double the distance, so it's down there. There's negative 25. So that is 3, negative 25. Okay, alright, maybe I should move that 2 slightly closer in, because this distance here has to be the same as that there. So maybe I should move the 8 a little bit further out. Instead of 2 closer, let's move the 8 further. So there to there, right, so put the 8 there. Okay, so this is why you draw in pencil. So if you make a mistake, you can rub it out, okay? I'm lucky, I have an erasable whiteboard markers. So if I make a mistake, I can just rub it out with my finger. I'm going to have to wash my hands afterwards, but hey, Okay, alright, that's it, we're done. All we have to do now is draw this guy in, so we join the dots. 1 through there, through there, through there. It's got to have a nice curve in it, through there, and you try to make it symmetrical. The last thing, and again, use your ruler for this please, is show the axis of symmetry. So your axis of symmetry, or slightly out here, it should be a straight line, so let's just cheat it a bit. The axis of symmetry is a straight line that runs vertically through your turning point, okay, so through the turning points of 3. So this is x equals 3. That's my axis of symmetry. Now, that drawing is ugly, okay, because I'm drawing vertical, right? If you're drawing horizontal flat in your book, it's easier to draw like that, okay? But that's what you have to show. Please remember, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. 5 things to draw, to sketch a parabola, okay? This is not coordinates. If they ask you to sketch a parabola, please don't just choose coordinates and plug coordinates into there, okay? You might get the correct parabola, but they want to see that you can find these things. And last, so you want the intercept, the y-intercept, you want the turning point, and you want the 2 roots. The roots are where the flowers go into the ground. Sorry, let's see. The roots are where the flowers go into the ground. So they go into the ground there. There's my 2 roots. Okay, alrighty. I hope this helps. Go practice this. Choose a couple of parabolas. Go into your book and take some from your books because you want some that factorize nicely. Choose some with a positive, choose some with a negative where you get an unhappy graph. You still got to be able to draw both of them, okay? Remember, I'm here for you.